But so you seem pretty upbeat though. Like obviously it's a good result. It's a positive result, and you fancy your chances at Stamford Bridge to take care of this.
I I never say anything definitively or for sure. You never know in football, but we are comfortably the better team. So
Yeah.
if we can't stay 2 goals ahead of these guys for another 90 minutes, then we probably deserve to go out. So feeling okay about it so far. So far, so good. Could have been two. It could have been 3 or 4-0, but it also could have been 2-1. So,
Mm.
I'm not going to complain too much about only winning 2-0. Sometimes that's just how it shakes out, you know. And also like Chelsea are not going to magically sign a goal scorer from now until next week. They don't have one. Ziyech is the only guy. Sterling is the only guy. These are the two that can kind of reliably, and I say reliably, I mean they've scored like 10 goals each this season. That's the extent to their goal scoring. They're in a massive goal scoring drought. I forget how many minutes it's been, but consecutive minutes without scoring. It's a long streak and has set some kind of record since whatever time. They also, I think, haven't.
Wow.
Yeah, that their goal. Put this into perspective. They've only scored 29 goals in the Premier League this season, and their XG is 41. That's their biggest problem. Like, talk about Kepa getting criticized for not saving Asensio's shot last night, or Chilwell taking a red card, or they're defending, but they also can't attack. You know,
The defending was pretty shocking though on that play. Has to be said on the 1-0 as well.
both of them. Yeah,
Backs
both.
towards.
And
Yeah.
quite frankly, all game. It was pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I mean, I was surprised. We
But
talked
so
about
that's
this
why I
last
was
night,
wondering.
Lampard's tactics were brutal too. That it was such an open, and I'm just thankful I don't have to face Tuchel for now.
Can you blame Lampard though? I mean, his first game in charge,
Yeah, because like
quarterfinals of the
they
Champions
concede,
League.
they got a red card, and instead of like trying to solidify themselves and make sure they don't concede more, they completely opened up, and they were lucky not to concede more goals. I don't know how they didn't, but I think defensively they were terrible. So I think you have to put some blame on Lampard for sure. But he can't control
Yeah.
like Kepa sucking and Cucurella sucking, that stuff. But there are things that he could have controlled. But yeah, maybe the Lampard criticism is harsh, but this is also kind of Lampard in a nutshell. He's not going to be the savior.
Is Joao Felix staying at Chelsea, you reckon? He's got, what is it, end of the season, 9, 10 games left. Don't forget, because he's on loan. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes another one that
Do you
we
think
might
Chelsea want to keep him? I mean,
forget that. That's why I'm asking.
I guess in the battle of who wants to get rid of him more, Atletico probably win that battle of like, we don't want this guy. But if Chelsea say we don't want him, then Atletico don't have power to force him to stay in London. They have to figure out what to do with his contract. Interesting one. I feel bad. I
mean,
like
he's-
Joao
he's-
Felix.
Yeah.
I feel like
You
he had
can't
some
blame
bad
him for
luck.
the situation at Chelsea. He has.
Yeah, no, I mean, and now he's basically being asked to play as a striker and score goals. That's not his game either. But he's kind of like the secondary striker role typically. And I think he had bad luck. Like, I know, like, a lot of people will say, well, you don't have to feel sorry for him. He's filthy rich and all that stuff. But from a sporting perspective, Atletico was a really bad spot for him leaving
Yeah.
Benfica. He was way better off just taking his time, either staying with Benfica or going somewhere else that could have used him better. So I feel bad
Barca.
for him. I actually like his, like, stylistically, I like the way he plays. I liked his elegance on the ball. But I think he also has a confidence issue. Like, that breakaway he had in the first half, in the first minute, you could tell by the body language that he's not really confident taking that in stride.
No.
and testing Courtois.
Yeah.
He kind of went to the side, let Militao catch up to him, and Militao closed the angle, and then he shot it at Courtois. He didn't look confident taking that break. And that's where I think they really could have used someone like Aubameyang, or heck, I don't even understand why Ziyech didn't start the game. I think Ziyech would have taken that better too. So I don't think that's Joao Felix's game to be like the highest player up the pitch, where he's just asked to take those striker chances So it's a combination of things, but
yeah, it's another player. It's similar to, as my camera here is giving the usual technical issues. Apologies, but it's giving a kind of feeling that an Ansu vibe, like the feeling that the vibe that Ansu is giving off. It's a striker, or a forward rather, that is not, I almost want to say, just not in form. I mean, I read a stat on Joao before the game. I think it was 2 goals in 13 games, if I'm not mistaken. It just doesn't seem like a player that oozes confidence or even match fitness, for that matter. So I don't know if it's, and obviously in a physically demanding league such as the Premier League, where when he arrived, he immediately upon arrival got a red card in, I think it was the quickest, he set a record for quickest red card or something for a new player. Then missed a bunch of matches, what was it, 3 matches or so, got a 3-match ban. So, and obviously in a team with so much turmoil on and off the pitch, like Chelsea, where yes, the expectations are high because it's Chelsea, and seeing where they are currently in the standings and everything, it's not a good environment for a player like Joao Felix to, get into his groove, so to speak. So, that's why I say, like, I want to take any responsibility off of him with regards to why Chelsea are in the situation that they are in, but it's certainly not favoring a player like Joao, who I still like and uphold with high regard, even though we haven't really seen those glimpses of what we saw when he was at Benfica, but also at Atletico. He certainly showed signs of his brilliance there in that first season in particular. That first half of the season, when Burst arrived, it was like, damn, they have a superstar. They have the next Agüero. 120 million, I think they paid for him at the time, if I'm not mistaken, were well spent. And it's unfortunate.
Did you see what Guti said?
What did he say?
He said he doesn't understand why Real Madrid want Mbappe because Vinicius is better.
Oh. You agree?
No, I don't agree that Vinicius is better. I think Mbappe is better, but I suppose in some ways, like, their best positions are kind of the same, and Vinicius is Madridista through and through. He's the one that fans resonate with, and also he's making a case right now.
You don't want an entitled, spoiled brat, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
To intoxicate your dressing room.
There's something about, one of your own who has been here since he was a teenager, who's kind of grown with the club and loves the club. You don't just cast him. Having said that, if you sign Mbappe, you don't cast Vinicius aside anyway. They have to play together, so you have to make it work. But I do want to make a point about this. I don't think that what Guti said is entirely crazy either. Just in the sense that I think Vinicius is a Ballon d'Or caliber player, and he's gone to another level. I find this past week was amazing because the way he performed against Araujo, the way he performed against Reece James, against Juan Foyth, has been really, really incredible. So, while I don't think you can say he's better than Mbappe, I think you can say that he's like a top 5 caliber player. So it's not like there's an astronomical gap between the two, in my opinion. He's making the case for sure. He's making the case right now that he's really, really awesome. Certainly in better form. Maybe not in the overall picture, that because Mbappe has way more goals and assists overall in the season, but in terms of, helping his team get to the Champions League quarterfinals and being in great form right now.